This is the first 52, the first rapper. Coke LaRock was born on April 25th, 1955 in the Bronx, New York. He was raised by his single mother, but as she regularly worked 6 days a week, his grandparents also had a heavy influence in his upbringing. Coke was born premature and didn't take to regular milk, so his mother had to mix cocoa in with it. His grandmother took to calling him Coco because of that, which was later shortened to Coke. When LaRock was 15, he would hang out at the night school center where he first met Clive Campbell, later to be known as DJ Kool Herc. Here, he taught Herc the game of basketball, and they would play and hustle at the area schools and parks. Coke and Herc began hanging out regularly and became good friends. The potential money to be made in the drug hustle called to Coke, and he eventually began selling weed and heroin. It became a legitimate hustle for LaRock, and he was making decent money at it. Coke would hang out at the local clubs and bars, even though he was underage. He kept a keen eye on what was going on around him, watching the people, listening to the music. Eventually, he would sell weed at Herc's parties. At the parties that Kool Herc would put on, Coke would get on the mic now and then to make announcements, call out friends, names, or to hype the crowd up. At first, Coke did his vocals unseen, in the background. Eventually, Herc talked him into being more of a physical presence at the party, working his vocals and toasting on stage where the partygoers could see him. On one occasion, Herc's parents were away and he wanted some alone time with a girlfriend, and he asked Coke to mind the turntables for the party while he slipped away. A couple of hours later, Herc returned to the party in full swing and everybody getting down on Coke LaRock's set. At this point, Herc asked LaRock to officially be down with him. Coke saw that he could sell his drugs at the party and help with the entertainment as well, so he was in. When he finally started officially emceeing for the crowd, he needed a name to go with that. Between his childhood nickname Coco and a dream he had about selling drugs in Mexico, LaRock, eventually he settled on Coke LaRock. He began becoming a true master of ceremonies, keeping the party active with his call-outs and shout-outs, and what would become some of the first forms of rapping over beats and breaks. Herc and Coke gained notoriety and would play at area schools, parks, and clubs. At the top of their game, they would outsell events quickly, and large crowds would flock to their parties. At times, the police had to shut their events down because of the sheer number of people and the potential for things to go wrong. Coke is widely accredited with laying the foundation for the modern-day rapper as the first MC of hip-hop. At first, LaRock didn't write down and rehearse his rap. He just reacted to and spoke about what he saw happening around him at the party. Although lines and hooks that were received well by the audience became part of the regular performance, infamous hip-hop lines like "You rock and you don't stop," "Hotel Motel, I won't tell, you won't tell" were his. You can hear LaRock's influence on hip-hop records spanning the decades. In 1977, Kool Herc was attacked at a party. This affected LaRock deeply, and he immediately set out for retribution. Eventually, he was told that Herc's attacker had been relocated elsewhere, and he never fulfilled his pledge of revenge for the attack. This was the beginning of Coke's step back from the hip-hop scene. The fact that he had been a presence that could usher in a new generation and the birth of his son, Dante LaRock, gave him perspective that if murder was going to come along with this music scene, he didn't want to be part of it. In his active days as an MC, Coke never saw any success from recording. In 2008, Coke's first official on-wax recording came in the form of a song called "Hello, Merry Christmas Baby" on a holiday compilation from Cedric and Cedar. He can also be heard on "Who Is He?" featuring Coke LaRock by Charles Thomas Jr., released in 2019. Even though his lyrical stylings weren't as refined to the beat as the stylings we hear now, LaRock's off-the-top call-outs and eventually emerging poetry certainly paved the way for the modern-day MC to keep the crowd moving over the breaks and mixes at the party. It also gave the people another element to focus on and become a fan of. People were now not only coming around to hear DJ spin, they were also anticipating what the MC was saying do, adding his voice, calling out friends' names, rapping about what was happening in front of him in an entertaining way, exposed crowds and partygoers to the potential that a charismatic and talented MC had to bring to the life of a party. As one of the true founding fathers of hip-hop, Coke LaRock's name and influence will live on as an undeniable cultivator of the culture. The BronxTowne Hip Hop Hall of Fame would like to salute and thank Coke LaRock for his participation in the history and foundation of hip-hop.